We doing, brother? Brother Willie?
Fine, brother. How you feeling?
Man, I'm doing blacktastic, man. Brother Willie told me come over here and come holler at you, man. So I said, let me go ahead and get over here and come holler at you, man.
Okay,
Tell the people what your name is, man.
My name is Infinite Law. I'm a returned citizen. I did 32 years in the Virginia Department of Corrections. Been home now going on a little 3.5 years. I'm personally now the owner and manager of the Supreme Flea Market.
Okay.
Right now, and I'm also the program manager for Community Unity in Action, which is a nonprofit that works in the city. Most of the city public housing gardens you see, that's us. You know, we work in community. It's all about revitalization of our communities.
All right, so how you got the name, brother? That is a dope name.
I appreciate it, brother. It was given to me, brother, by a brother named U-Man, Universal, our master law. When I first came into the Virginia Department of Corrections at South Avenue Corrections Center back in 1986, the brother saw me, he saw something in me, saw potential, and so he invested time and energy in me to help me get the knowledge of myself and my relationship to my people, to my community, and just the world. And so the name was given to me, Infinite Law.
Yeah, that's such a dope name. So the next question I want to ask you, like how long you been home, if you don't mind me asking you that question?
It's going on close to 4 years now.
Okay.
And I've just been diligent, staying in contact with Brother Willie and Brother Hassan Shabazz and many other brothers and sisters for that matter. And I just really been grinding on this vision. You know what I mean? Of being productive and being an asset versus a liability to my community, to my family and all. So I've just been grinding. I'm blessed to have a good support network of family and friends and brothers like Brother Willie.
Okay, so coming home from prison, like what motivated you, like when you first came out? Because some guys, they come home, they don't have family, they stuck in the old time when they went in,
right.
When beep was in things. Right. So how did you make that transformation when you came home?
Well, it was like, first and foremost, when I came home, I was already working the plan.
Okay.
For the last 15 to 20 years of my incarceration, I was doing community service from within the prison environment by connecting to people that I met through, like Brother Willie, Brother Geronimo and them at different programs, and I maintained those relationships. And then I studied. I learned about as much as I can about economics, socioeconomics, and I just continued to try to give back in that environment. And then right before I came home, matter of fact, it was 4.5 years before I came home. Me, Brother Hassan Shabazz, Brother Allah King Wise Allah, and Brother Alfonso Dixon, you might have seen him. He's out here now. We actually developed a reentry model that the Virginia Department of Corrections is still using to this day. It's called RARE. And so I guess that gave the indication to powers that be that we were ready. So I just came out and continued working those relationships and networking with people and organizations that I met while I was in there. Virginia Defenders, Criminal Justice Network, all of that, Virginia Prison Justice Network, and all. Shout out to all of those people. All
right, so if I heard you correctly, you said that you're the owner of this place?
Yes. Me and my queen, my wife.
Okay.
We're going to take full ownership of it in April. We're now managing owners of the Supreme Flea Market, and I also have one of our offices from Community Unity Action is actually in the building.
Okay, man. I want to say congratulations on that, man. That's a major step up. So how long you been running the place?
Well, we've been running it now, me personally, a little over a year.
Okay.
Now about a year. Mr. Richard, he's on the Walden, so finally giving me some more leeway to start putting into place programs and initiatives that we feel that it would take the Supreme Flea Market on to, into the future, but also into a higher level of inclusion.
All right, so you did 32 years in prison, right? You came home, right? And those relationships that you built in prison, you came home and worked on it some more. So what advice would you have to a person who's a returning citizen, like they just came out today? Right. They just came home today, and they like, man, I ain't like you though. You know what I'm saying? My life ain't like yours, bro. So what would be your advice to them? And like letting them know like to keep pushing, keep going, or the things they should do.
But the first thing you should do is to work with what you got. You know what I mean? Actualize your truth through the medium that you have at your ready at your hands. And if you don't seem as though you have any assets or people or resources around you, immediately work on those things. And that's where, get a job and start saving something, even if it ain't about $5, $3. Saving your nest egg, something that you can help extend yourself out to the people and places that you want to reach. Whatever life you're striving to live, then you have to do diligence towards that. And I think that's what it is. And being patient and just being honest with you. So, yeah.
Great advice. And you know what I like that you said?
Yes, sir.
You said, go get the job first.
Right.
And then stack your paper up and then invest into whatever it needs to be invested into. Because it's this thing that's trending now. Oh, you don't need no job? You don't need no job? And I'm like, okay, well,
False narrative.
right. They say if a man don't work, a man don't eat. But I say if a man don't work, a man don't eat unless he's a leech. Right? So I'm glad that you put that out there to let the people know that.
Yeah.
Right? What are the other things that you would like to bring to the community, as far as helping the youth?
Right.
Right? We have this great gathering of brothers from returning citizens, right? That, which the things that you'll do for the youth?
Well, I'm actually working with a few people like Brother John out in Fairfield Court, which is called Clean Dreams. That's his organization, where he's reaching out to the youth out there, that's dealing with, whether it's from that particular platform, is dealing with, substance abuse, and also being a mentor. Then we have Keisha Cummings that I'm working with, sister out of Fairfield. Wickham Court, where she's really everywhere. But principally, she's like in Gilpin Court and Fairfield Court and things of that in Wickham Court. And so, we are reaching out, and I'm striving to be a part of it. I work 3 jobs as well.
Okay.
So it's like, that's what I do. But the first place I try to teach is my great-nephews, my nephew's children. Giving them that lesson, because you want to start at your own house first, if you can. If not, you reach out, each one teach one.
That's dope, man. Well, you doing wonderful things, right? And I interviewed somebody else out here, right? And I asked him this question: what is like the funniest, wildest story you got from being in prison, incarcerated?
Oh, the funniest?
Yeah, the funny. I don't want to hear no sad ones. I want to hear like some that was like that you just can't stop tripping about, laughing about.
One of the funniest stories that immediately came to mind had to deal with a brother named Wally El Shabazz, another one of my brothers, and we were mentors in the reentry program that I say we created. And so Wally, he's gonna kill me for saying this, but Wally couldn't really visualize what the vision was, or how prisoners going to be allowed to run a program. And so when Allah King Wise told him, said, well, look, man, you just got to give it yourself. He said, man, look, I ain't got a pocket of pencil and a bullet to throw it out of. And so that was kind of funny. That's not one of the funniest. Some funniest stories are like, children's sensitive stories. So,
Okay, and I want to know this, right? Because I'm always interested in people who are returning back to society, and I always like to know, it's like, what motivates you personally? Like, what motivates you to keep going? What motivates you to do the things that you are doing? Because like I said, you're doing wonderful things. You're doing great things, and I see that you're a man that have goals and direction.
Right.
What like really motivates you? Like, what makes you say, I'm gonna get up every morning and I'm gonna do what I do? I'm gonna work. I'm gonna serve the community. What drives you to do that? What pushes you to do that?
My bloodline, which is my mother. My mother was a social worker for 30 years in Richmond social worker, and I seen how she, took us from projects to, living not a comfortable life, but a life that was honorable, even though I chose it otherwise. And so a lot of the things that she instilled in me when I was a child, I didn't know I had it, which is, you know, I was a seed, I just didn't know it. And it came to fruition in that harsh environment that I found in the prison environment. And so that's what motivates me, because I have the skill sets that I have. I know it comes directly through that lineage. And brothers, like I was saying, Brother Willie, Brother Geronimo, Brother Rashid Shabazz, and many others, and sisters. You know.
Geronimo, I heard that name before.
Yeah, you have to know Brother Geronimo.
Yeah.
Brother Geronimo, well, his honorable name is Jerome Richardson X.
Yes, sir.
Right? Yeah, he's also brother. He's one of my mentors. Brother Rashid, Brother Willie's mentor. You know what I mean? That brother instilled a lot in us. I consider him to be a patriarch to this returned citizen.
Okay, anything else that you would like to say to the public? You know, just anything that you could think of, any inspirational words, motivational words for the people. And matter of fact, I know I already asked you about the people coming home from prison, the brothers coming home from prison, but what do you say for a person who never been incarcerated, right, and they struggling? What advice would you have for them? Would it be the same advice that you have for the brother that just came home from prison, or would it be separate advice for the one he never been incarcerated, but he broke right now and he's struggling?
See, that's the common ground. You know what I mean? So there's commonality in anything if we take the time to really look at beyond our own circumstances and look to the next person, and we can see common ground, whatever it may be. And so I would kind of say the same thing.
Okay.
One of the most powerful pieces that I used in the depth was Brother Shaquille told me, Shaquille Ali. He said one day, he said that when spiders unite, they can take down a lion. And that was profound to me, you know what I mean? Because it's like a whole African problem. And meaning that when we come together and we find a common ground, not where we differ at, but where we find commonality, then when we put it together, it's just like the fabrics of our shirt. It's just like the air we breathe. That's a fabric. It comes together, you know, carbon, hydrogen, and all of these other things combined in order for us to live. And so we can take lessons from that. And that's, you know, one of the great things of work together. If you have something good in you and you don't have a job or whatever, go and find another good person. You'll see them out there and introduce yourself. A closed mouth don't get fed.
Woo! That was deep. Spiders come together.
Yeah, when spiders unite, they can take down a lion.
They can take down a lion. Gosh almighty. Woo, you just blew me back from my next question. That's giving
to me, brother.
Yeah, that's deep right there, man. Oh my goodness. Yeah, that's woo.
Live in that.
So the next question I was going to ask you, because you sound like a man that has knowledge of self, right? Can you explain into deeper detail for people who don't understand of having knowledge of self?
Well, in the most simplest way of explaining that, knowledge of self is being able to see yourself in others, being able to recognize your feelings, your beliefs, your growth, and being able to see it in other people, and then recognizing the commonality, because that's all knowledge of self is. I'm not talking about the individualistic sense of self. I'm talking about the collective sense of self. Okay. Because we as human beings, we're social creatures by nature. You know what I mean? At least that's what I hold to be true. I need another human being in order for me to do the things that I do, because we live in a society, a group of people living together for a common cause. So knowing and understanding that in my reality, that means that, okay, then I try to find what's in me that can contribute to the greater good. And conversely, it can also be what that I can take from my community. You know what I mean? Because you still have to be able to recognize things outside of yourself. You know what I mean? People, places, and things, and events. And being able to understand that in all the totality of all things, we're all here together.
All right. Ooh, I like that, because you know, most people, when they think knowledge of self, or they hear words like do for self, they think it's just on them. And they don't have to connect with anybody else. So I'm glad that you shared some light on that. So before I let you go, right, I want to ask you, do you have any social media platforms? Give out the address to the location we are right now. And
all right. Yeah, Community Unity in Action is on Facebook. on Instagram. It's Community Unity in Action, RBA. My email address is allahinfinite7154@gmail.com. You can reach out to me that way. And the Supreme Flea Market right here is at 3302 Williamsburg Road, Richmond, Virginia, 23231. And I appreciate the time.
All right. And one more question, brother. Is they renting out any spots in here?
Yeah, most definitely. We got plenty of space. You know, for those who are on the go that are striving to do, because like I said, it's a collective vision. We have spaces that range from $125, that's a 10 by 10. Then we have even larger spaces.
That'll be about a month or?
Yeah, this month.
Okay.
Yeah, the Supreme Flea Market phone number is 804-888. Brother Rich, what's the rest of the phone number here? This is the owner, by the fact. The brother that's training me, that's turning this over to me. 804-888-6684.
Gotcha.
That's Brother Richard Walton. That's the picture.
How you doing, brother?
Yeah.
All right, well, thank you for your time, brother. And I'm going to say this before I let you go. Remember that you're powerful. Remember that you're awesome. Remember that you could do all things.
Absolutely.
Peace.
Peace.